welcome back. So sorry about the fan noise, but today we're going to be fiberglassing and I want proper ventilation in here. So if you remember from the last clip, if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. But I made these guys right here, which might not look like much, but there's a good amount of work that went into them. So we spaced out the factory side skirt with a couple of 1-inch pieces of plywood, and then we stapled another piece of wood on the bottom here, board, and then I stretched this fleece over it to sort of create this shape that you see right here, which is much taller as well as wider than the factory side skirt. So this is the back. You can see it's pretty wide here. So this is the plan. Hopefully we can put resin on here and it will make a nice hard piece of side skirt, hopefully, and then we can peel it off of our mold here, which I wrapped in tin foil so that it unsticks. So that's the idea, that's the plan. I'm gonna try my best. I may have to put another staple here and there. I'm probably gonna get the compressor ready and tighten up a couple areas because I wanna make sure everything's really taut and we don't have any issues. So I'm gonna tidy up a couple more spots that look pretty loose, and then I'm gonna mix up some resin and start going at this thing. Should absorb quite a bit because this is a thick material, but hopefully that'll result in a nice strong product in the end. And also hopefully we can get it out of the mold. That's one of my big concerns, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So I got my resin here, got a cup to mix in that's hopefully not going to dissolve because this will dissolve a lot of cups. I got my hardener here, and I got a couple of disposable brushes, just some cheap ones. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up a decent batch and start laying it down. Yeah, I'll show you guys the process here. Alright guys, so we're completely soaked with resin. All the resin that I had, I used on one skirt. I think it could probably take more too. I think it'll just keep soaking it up as long as I'm putting it in. Yeah, probably should have bought a gallon of resin. Hopefully we'll be okay with just the one light coat. It looks like it's holding its shape pretty good. So I'm just going to let this dry overnight. We'll see if it feels nice and hard in the morning. Whether or not I do another coat, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to end up doing some reinforcing mat on the inside once I get it off. So hopefully you guys can understand me. But yeah, not much left to do other than just let this guy dry. So that's all I'm going to do now. So it's the following day, and I let everything dry overnight, at least on this one side skirt. And honestly, I'm pretty happy. I was worried last night that I hadn't put enough resin on it, but I mean the areas where I went really thick is really strong, but there's some areas that are a bit thinner, and you can see that the material flexes a little bit, which I'm not super concerned about. It's not the end of the world. Like I said, I want to reinforce it from the inside, but just showing when you put enough and you push on it, like on these areas over here, the part really doesn't flex at all. Like you can see I'm pushing with my finger and there's barely any flex in the part. So that's awesome. Like this thing seems really stiff. I'm pushing on it most of the way along. So I think the plan is I might sand it while it's on here, give it a nice sand and make this surface less rough like this. Just get it down a little bit. And then what I think I'll do, actually, I might take it off first. I'll sand it after. So I'm gonna try to cut this whole thing off, come all the way around, and cut it on this edge here up top. Try not to cut into the plastic. But yeah, I'm gonna try to cut the whole thing there,
and then I'll, you know, cut it around here, this area, and then on the underside, I'm not exactly sure where yet, but we'll cut it down here as well, probably somewhere on this edge right here. And I may end up, I was thinking about like trimming it here and here last night, if the part's strong enough, and I may be able to reinforce the edge and stuff. So if I trimmed it here and here, I could have like a nice, just top mounted side skirt and mount it here too, and then maybe put something in the middle to hold this from flapping, or I could create like an edge here, or maybe it wouldn't flap if it was only this wide. See, I'm still thinking, I'll still make changes to this, but overall, pretty happy. I think it's really gonna work out good, and it's honestly way stronger than I thought it was gonna be after just one coat of resin. So I think once I take it off, I'm gonna do more fiberglass resin, at least all on the inside of this flat section here, all on the inside, just to make sure that we are, you know, getting really strong, really good adhesion. I'll sand it first, but yeah, I just need to get more resin because I used that entire little jug and then some. So this whole, how many ounces is this? 28.8 ounces. So I used that whole thing, and I used a little bit that was in that one too. Haven't touched the mat yet, but yeah, I need to get more resin. I ordered a gallon, so should be enough to do the rest of the job. But yeah, definitely goes through some resin using fleece. If you want to use less resin, but potentially have more work to do stiffening later, then thinner materials would work better. A lot of people online say they use spandex and all sorts of different materials. You can do the same thing, but I thought that fleece would be good because it's a super absorbent material and would make us a nice durable part, but I ended up running out of resin. So that's the way it goes. No big deal. We'll get it figured out in the end, but yeah, pretty happy with the way it turned out and the stiffness of everything. So yeah. Right, so I'm making my way through it. Prime example of why you got to wear safety equipment, mask, and I had glasses on, and one of the Dremel cutting wheels actually just shattered and hit me in the face. So I don't know if you can see the red marks on my face, but a couple of pieces of that disc did hit my glasses, so would have got a disc in the eyeball. So, you know, I'm glad. These are cheap Dremel discs, you know. I mean, I think they might be Dremel brand, but you know, things shatter, things break, and things happen. So that cutting wheel almost hit me in the eye. So lucky I was wearing glasses, but wear your safety protection, guys. It's worth it. Yeah, so moving along here, I got, you know, bottom cut. I'm just starting to make my way around. I'm just trying to go a little at a time. The other side looks really good. As I drop this whole side skirt on the ground here. Okay, that's good, it didn't fall. So yeah, we got the whole top edge separated. The part seems decently stiff. Like, I think it's stiff enough to take it off, and this might even be good because it's like a little bit pliable still. It's a little bit flexible. So I think it might make the whole removal easier. So I may shave this back a little bit, but looks like all this stuff is loose. It all kind of is pulling away with the tin foil or leaving the tin foil behind, so really good. I'm excited. I'm just gonna go through and clean it up, see if I can keep cutting and get this thing free as a unit, and then we'll see what it looks like. Alright guys, so I got the side skirt sitting over here. This thing came off super easy. What's up, Georgia? She doesn't pay any attention to me. Georgia! Hey! Look at me! Oh yeah, there you are. Okay, see you later. Anyway, this guy right here looks awesome. It's pretty strong. It definitely flexes. You can see it's got like a lot of flex to it, so we got to stiffen it up. I'm thinking about, ooh, that's windy. I'm thinking about putting some fiberglass mat on the inside to stiffen it up, and then that should help a little bit. And you can see we have a little bit more to soak in here on this area, so we'll soak more in. We'll make it a bit stiffer on all the inside edges here. Hang on a sec. See what we can do about stiffening these up, because I want them to be nice and sturdy and strong, not flopping around while I drive. So yeah, that's going to be the next phase of this. Alright guys, so it has been a few days and I just finished my other side skirt. I just cut it out. It's over here drying, so I'll show you guys right over here next to Georgie. We got it sitting here drying up for the last bit here. You can see it's a little bit light on the inside. It's still kind of furry looking, but oh well. We'll go ahead and recoat the inside like I'm going to show you guys right now. So I'm going to go ahead and sand up the inside, get it ready, and then, you know, just going to go inside and scuff it. This, it still felt a little bit wet when I took it off, and I could still smell the resin, but it feels pretty dry. It just dried overnight. I did this last night. You can see where it didn't soak in these areas right here. So what I'm going to end up doing is recoating that whole area, then put some fiberglass mat down, and then try to soak through the mat too, and then that should add some stiffness. I've been thinking about cutting some of this out, just making like a section, but I guess we'll have to see. But this is kind of wavy up top here. Hopefully I can get it to straighten out. I think once I add the Bondo glass, it should stiffen it up even more. But yeah, so we're gonna add a little bit of mat on the inside and then see if we can give this part some rigidity, because it's kind of floppy for my liking. So I'm outside, I got my respirator, so we got good ventilation going on. I've been doing this in the garage because it's been late and dark, but I think I'm better off doing it outside because this stuff is very fumy. You need a respirator, whether you're outside or inside. The fumes are not good and they're very carcinogenic, so don't mess around with fumes. Definitely get a nice respirator. They're not that much money and it's for your health. So anyway, back to side skirt. We got to go ahead and sand up the inside of this, so I'm going to grab some 80 grit here and just by hand, I think, just rough it up a little bit. Nothing crazy, because there's still some, you know, dry areas over here that never got any, like I said. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix up some resin and start laying down a nice coat. I almost forgot we got to cut our mat, so I'm going to go get the mat and we'll start cutting that out too.
Or surfing waves into the night on the beaches of Hawaii. Drinks in Ibiza, anywhere you wanna go, baby, you just let me know.
So I cut out all of the different pieces of fiberglass mat that I want to use, and I laid it all out inside of here, so that should fill up the whole inside area. So what I'm going to do now is pull them all out, mix up some resin, and then lay it all out, put them back in after I sand it, of course. But yeah, let's get to sanding. So obviously you probably saw that the GoPro did take a tumble. I'm definitely going to throw that clip in there. Hopefully you can see it in the time lapse, but took a fall, didn't break, but almost broke. I don't know if you can see it in the reflection, but the corner, you're probably not gonna be able to see it because this window's so dirty, but the corner of the GoPro is, yeah, you can see it there, it's all chipped up. So almost had a big problem, but didn't break the screen, thankfully. So we're good to go. And then it unplugged the mic, so I shot like a whole clip, like 3-minute long clip, and it's gone. So I'm gonna reshoot that right now. But this side skirt right here is pretty much all set on the inside. So I'm hoping once this dries, we're gonna have a lot more rigidity here. I went with 1 layer of fiberglass after sanding, and then I hit it with all the mat, and then I went with more fiberglass on top until it was completely filled in. You can see the areas where it's a little bit white, but they're hanging off. So I got everything to where it's nice and soaked. So the whole thing's soaked, the fleece is soaked, and the mat is soaked. So I think those 2 layers combined, once this thing dries, when we come out here tomorrow, I think this thing's gonna be super rigid. I can already tell that it added a ton of weight to it. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I think that's gonna work out really good. So yeah, based on that, I think I'm gonna cap off the video here though. And what we're gonna do next time is sand the outside with probably some 80 grit to start. Just take down the roughness of it a little bit, and then we're gonna probably give it a whole coat of Bondo glass, and then go ahead and sand through all that, and then we'll see where we are. We'll see what it looks like. I do maybe want to try to fit these on the factory skirt and on the car just to make sure that everything fits before we put too much work into it. So I think that'll probably be part of the next video as well. So yeah, look forward to that, and this car's gonna look pretty sweet. I hope you guys are liking all the mods that are going on, because I'm pretty stoked. I think this car is going from like a piece of junk to you know, something to be proud of, like real soon, as soon as I get some paint on this thing. But yeah, even once it's all primered, it's gonna look sweet. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the content, and I'm definitely gonna be doing some more stuff soon. Getting a phone call right now though, so I got interrupted by that phone call there, but essentially what I was gonna say is stay tuned for, you know, more content. Obviously I got more coming up. I got a few more things I want to do to the car, including changing the oil. And when I change the oil out, I want to add a oil temperature gauge, which I bought already. I have it over here. It's a glow shift. So, you know, nothing too fancy, but it is decent enough. Kind of hard to see, it's not illuminated, but I'm going to install this down in the center console area, because that's kind of the only area that I have room for it. I don't want to have any gauges on the dash. I like them on the pillar, but my pillar pod's full, so I'll put it down low. And I just kind of want to keep an eye on the oil temperature, because I think the reason I have such low oil pressure after driving the car for a while, especially now that the oil's getting kind of old, I'm coming up on 3,000 miles with the oil, and it's definitely longer than 3 months. It's probably been 6 months or more, so definitely due for an oil change. I have the filter, I have the oil, I have the gauge, I have everything I need. So it's just going to be, you know, whatever day I decide to do it. So I got to drive the car around, go ahead and drop the oil, and then I'll install the gauge, and I'll show you guys how all that goes. But yeah. So what I also wanted to say was, if you guys are interested in following me on Instagram, my Instagram name is ThatAccordGuy. So if you want to follow me, go ahead. If not, that's fine too. But yeah, so I just figured I'd plug that really quick, because I've been putting it in the description, but I haven't actually been talking about it. So that is up there. Sometimes I'll throw things on there before I'll announce a video, or I may post a picture there of something that I did before you guys see it on YouTube, because it takes a while to edit YouTube videos and render them. Rather on Instagram, it's quick, you just post it. So you may see stuff there first, so give me a follow if you care to. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. We'll have more coming up soon.